Hello and welcome to the Wild Protea. My name is Clinton Jarman. Thanks for joining me on this Friday afternoon. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe here on our YouTube channel as well as our online magazine, The Fair Digest. So this is the Wild Protea. The idea of the Wild Protea is to make this a fan channel. So don't forget to comment below and let me know how the fans are feeling. So straight into it then, some Bok news, some review. Obviously the Boks took on Canada on Tuesday and the game went as expected. Not too much to write home about for the Boks. I don't think there's much you can learn from a game like that. What I did like though, the positives from the game, the clinical nature of the first 30 minutes. We took our chances, put the game to bed, and sent Canada packing in the first 20, 30 minutes, and that was good to see from the guys. Kobus Reinach coming through with a hat-trick there. Reinach perhaps maybe pushing for a not a starting berth, but maybe a place on the bench. Herschel seemed to be feeling the pressure a bit there when he came on. A couple of loose passes in the second half there, but there's not much you can learn from that second half. A little bit of the negative side of the game was obviously that scrappy second half. Didn't enjoy the second half. Thought that we didn't stick to our structures and Canada sort of came back into the game. But I'm pretty sure, just judging by the sort of the interviews after the game by Sia and by Rassi as well, I think the second half was just a bit of a jolt, bit of a champagne troll, try and play champagne rugby, get some points on the board, but it got a bit scrappy and it was always likely to be like that. Maybe the guys with a bit of white line fever trying to get tries for the tournament, but trying to get a World Cup try. I would have liked to have seen us stick to our structures a bit more, but at the same time, every game after this is going to be a huge one. So there's not going to be time for a bit of fun and a bit of throw the ball around and see what happens. So I think they came in half time. Rassi said, boys, well done, job done. Second in the group, go out there, have a bit of fun now in the second half. Still try and take it seriously and score some tries, but try and have some fun, because this is probably the last time we're going to have some fun on a rugby field. Well, I mean, it's always fun when you win, but it's probably the last time they can sort of throw caution to the wind a bit. And you could see that on the field, guys were doing things that they wouldn't usually do, throwing passes that they wouldn't usually throw. So, yeah. So also from the game, what I gathered is there's guys there that are perhaps pushing for being in that starting 23. Guys like Skalk Brits. Skalk does everything that's asked of him, plays wherever he needs to play, captained the side quite beautifully against Namibia. Also played at 8th man, not his natural position, and he just seems like the guy that'll do anything for the team, anything for the badge. And when you got guys like that, you want him in that starting 23. Where I'd put him ahead of Marks. Marks has not been great. He just seems to be a bit off the pace at the moment, and I just think his confidence just isn't high at the moment, and perhaps Brits would be more suited off the bench than Marks. I think he adds a bit more. Other guys, obviously, like I mentioned earlier, Kobus Reinach perhaps pushing for a match day 23, but I doubt it. Herschel has been in tremendous form. Faf has struggled a little bit. So if there was to be any question marks, I would think that maybe Herschel would start over Faf, but I highly doubt that. Faf had a decent game the last game out. His box kicking was much better, and that's pretty much our game plan. So also that game plan, we did implement it quite well in that first 20, 30 minutes. Kobus's box kicks were excellent. And a good box kick is one where the guys can get up and compete, and that's what happened, and we won some of those balls off the Canadians. So it was a good performance all around from the Boks. Obviously the second half got a bit scrappy, but to be expected really. Then just looking ahead to to that quarterfinals and the different sort of situations that can happen for us. In all honesty, I think we'll be playing Japan. I think Japan will beat Scotland. I think Ireland will beat Samoa, and I think Scotland will be going home. But there has been a bit of weather around. There is a typhoon that's supposed to hit Japan on the weekend, and that has caused games to be cancelled already and could create havoc. I saw the game today, Australia versus Georgia, and although there wasn't the conditions weren't too bad, they were still bad enough for Australia to not really dominate the game the way they wanted to, and that's against the Georgian side. So I would fancy that Samoa or Scotland might fancy a game with some wet conditions to disrupt the opposition, but I think a game with wet conditions would actually favour Ireland, and I think Ireland will pull that game through. I don't see Samoa upsetting them there. So the one to really look forward to that's going to affect us is the Japan game against Scotland, and it's going to be interesting to see. I think Japan will pull it through, and I think us against Japan in the quarterfinals, I think it'll be a good quarterfinal. We have beaten them just now in the recent past, by 40 points. So I think it'll be a good quarterfinal for us. I don't think we'll take it lightly. I think we'll stick to our structures like we did in the first game, and I think we'll come out with a win and be through to the semi-final. A semi-final that'll most likely see us play either Wales or I forget now. But I think Wales will get through, and I think we'll play Wales in the semi-final. I think that's going to be the semi-final for us. That I see on our side of the draw. Yeah. Then just in some soccer news, some football news. Bafana, they're gonna take on Mali over the weekend on Saturday. Just some injury news there. Percy Tau is out of this one. The significance of that? Well, Percy Tau is supposed to play 50% of South Africa's games to be eligible for a work permit. Remember, as I said, he's been loaned out from his English club Brighton because he doesn't have a work permit at the moment, or he can't get one at the moment because of South Africa's world ranking and so on and so forth. He has to play more games for them and so on. But playing in the Champions League, I did say, will help, and so hopefully we can see Percy in the English Premiership soon. So the kicker for that one is at 3 o'clock. Bafana versus Mali. I think it's the Nelson Mandela Challenge. So support the boys. And as usual, on next week Friday, I'll do a review of the game and my thoughts on the new coach and the system and stuff like that. Then in some Protea news, some cricket news, the Proteas are taking on India in the second test now. Obviously, the first test we lost by quite a large margin, unfortunately, and the second test is not going well either. To be fair, 601 for 5 declared. That's what India amassed. Massive total there. Virat Kohli winning the toss and obviously batting first. Virat Kohli himself scoring 254 not out. Ouch. And also Agarwal getting another 100, opening the batting as well, with Jadeja chipping in with the 91 at the end. Tough out there for the lads. Cricket is a cruel game at times, and when the side's on top in international cricket, they generally carry that momentum with them for a couple of days, and it's very difficult. Having said that, though, was tough, but I felt as though the first 15 overs, if that had gone a bit differently, Vern with the new ball, also Rabada with the new ball, we're getting some decent shape and getting some movement off the deck, and had we got maybe one or two up front, things could have been very, very different for the Indians, because they came in with the batsmen light in this game, and had we taken 3 or 4 up front, could have been very, very different. But it wasn't to be on this occasion, and now we're behind the 8 ball again. With the bat now we're 36 for 3, and things are not looking good at the moment for the boys, but hopefully we can get a couple of big partnerships together, a couple of big hundreds, Try and get as close as we can to that 600, and then make it really difficult for them to win the game. If we can do that, then we may have a chance of drawing and getting some Test Championship points. What I've been disappointed with is the lack of, well, from what I can see, the lack of what looks like a plan for this Indian series. You've got Heinrich Nokia making his debut, running in, bowling the ball halfway down the pitch, with, you know, sort of guys out and a short leg and what. And the guy's just waiting on the back foot and pulling him for four. It's not, yeah, just the planning just seems a bit, everything we do just seems a bit obvious. The fields also haven't been, the fields that have been set haven't been sort of, I think, attacking enough for me. Sometimes, obviously, you have to defend when the guys are on a roll, but, you know, sometimes I think, you know, we could have, there was a stage there where Ravinder Jadeja couldn't get off the square. And obviously, you know, Virat Kohli was on 100 and sort of, just 100 and sort of 20, 30 odd. And I think at that stage, if we had maybe just given Kohli the one and tried to set more attacking field to the Jadeja, we could have maybe had a breakthrough there, because Jadeja was struggling a little bit. And then, you know, maybe Virat Kohli is very much a touch player, likes to field bat and ball. Maybe he gets a bit frustrated that, you know, he's only getting ones. So, yeah, I don't know, just some of the plans haven't really worked for the Proteas, but, you know, hopefully the guys the next 3 days can pull a rabbit out the hat and, you know, do something special here. Get close to that 600 and try and get the draw. I don't see us winning from this position. Only India can win from this position. So yeah, unfortunate, you know, for Coach Enoch, thrown into the deep end and drowning at the moment. Then sticking with cricket now, the Protea women. The first ODI, we lost by 8 wickets. We scored 165 and they got it very easily. Second ODI, we did a bit better. We scored 247, but, you know, Indians still won by 5 wickets. They managed 248. Some notable performers here. Volvaart got 69 in our innings. Protea also got 44 in our innings. Pandey, Bisht and Yadav all taking 2 wickets apiece for the Indians. Then in the Indian innings, PG Rout got 65 and M Raj got 66, setting up a 5-wicket victory there for the Indian women's team. Notables in our innings bowling was Ayabonga Kaka. She got 3 wickets. Yeah, so tough going there for the ladies as well. Tough going in cricket in general for South Africa at the moment. You know, obviously the women's game I'm still learning, but if I just want to jump back to the men again, yeah, it's tough to watch the guys at the moment. They're really struggling to come to terms with what's happening in India. I do think, you know, for the next test, some changes should be made. Perhaps Zubair Hamza getting another chance. Maybe that batting order also is looking shaky at best. You know, Tennis de Brain not setting the world alight. Aiden Markram, you know, sort of looking good at times, but getting himself out at bad times as well. You know, Alder's been a rock and he's been solid there with that first game. But yeah, I just think, you know, maybe Faf should go in at 3, sort of lead by example, show the guys, you know, okay, I'm the captain, this is how it's done. I just think he's wasted at 5. I really do. So I would have him at 3, and then, you know, have Bafuma come in after him, and maybe Tennis de Brain at 5. Tennis still in his test career infancy, so to me that's a no-brainer. Or I would have Hamza come in. I think Zubair Hamza's a great, a top player, and I think he can make a difference. So yeah, guys, that has been the Wild Protea for a Friday. My name is Clinton John. Don't forget to join me again next week. Next week we'll have a little bit of a look ahead to the quarterfinals. because I think by then we'll know all the quarterfinals and stuff like that. So don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Fair Digest, and also on our online magazine as well. So don't forget to join me. Don't forget to join me on Monday as well, where we'll be going through the Fair Digest sports news. That'll be all the latest sports stories from around the world and in South Africa. Thank you for joining me again. Cheers.